a highly touted guy, but a little guy. And, it's kind of tough to carve out a niche for the guys who go 115, 118, but he may be right on the verge, Kev, if I'm correct, of busting through and getting major exposure, right? Because he kind of brings unique punching power, at that size.
Yeah, I mean, Donaire is an interesting guy to watch because I wrote a column on him today, and there's a lot of comparisons to be made with him and Manny Pacquiao. Right now, Nonito is already getting a lot of attention. He is number 9 on the Yahoo pound-for-pound poll, which both you guys vote on. He's number 5 according to The Ring. He's number 10 according to ESPN.com. So he's already, an elite fighter in the world. But, if you look at where Nonito is now and the fights that he has ahead of him, there's a lot of similarity between him and Manny Pacquiao. 5 years ago, Manny Pacquiao was preparing right now for a January fight at the Thomas & Mack against Eric Morales. He had a loss to Eric Morales, followed that up with a win over Hector Velasquez, and then was training for the rematch with Morales. He was 28 years old, certainly was not a guy that you would look at and say, hey, is going to be not only the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, but somebody you might think is the best fighter of his generation. Nobody was saying that about Pacquiao then. You fast forward now, and he moved up in weight and did all this. And the point about that with Nonito Donaire is when you look at it, he was good at flyweight. He was good at super flyweight, going for a bantamweight title tomorrow. And he's talking about moving up and going to super bantam, featherweight, even possibly 130, 135. And there's a lot of good guys at those weights.
Yes, there are.
That he could fight that could make really good opponents.
He's going to go that high? When I was reading 122, I was like, well, that's, I might be pushing it a little bit. I mean, I know he's not, he's not 5'1", so, but, boy, 130, 135.
Yeah, Nonito told me the other day that he weighs like 142 walking around. So
wow.
He had been cutting over 20 pounds to get down to the super flyweight limit of 115. So he's, big for that weight class. I think it might be a stretch, and I did mention that in my column for 130 or 135. But I think, up to featherweight, it's definitely legit for him to do. And because of how many great fighters are in all those different weight classes, that's something that if you extrapolate it and say, hey, you put him in, you have him winning titles if he can win those fights, and that's the key. You got to win the fights. But all of a sudden you say, hey, this guy is accomplished a heck of a lot, and a couple of years from now, what are we going to be thinking of him?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. Look, some guys, I think what Pacquiao's done is incredibly unique in terms of being able to advance and actually get better. As he's gotten to larger weights, but he's got the trunks to do that. He's kind of a big guy for the waist down. How about Donaire? Does he look to have the legs that will support that kind of weight gain?
Yeah, I think he has the overall frame, Dave, that I think that he can put it on easily and not lose. The key with Manny, has been that he moved up and he retained his quickness. He added power, and because, as you say, he has such big, thick legs, and I think that that's certainly something that Nonito has. No, Nonito does not have the same kind of powerful-looking legs that Manny does, but he has the overall frame, and he's rangier than Manny is, and so I think he could move up and be a factor. I think he's, at 115, frankly, a little bit frail. So I think this kid, it would be a stretch for anybody to say that another fighter is going to come along and do what Manny Pacquiao's done. But, kind of on a smaller scale, certainly this is a guy that has a chance to accomplish some of that.